Welcome to the City of Bakersfield Planning Commission meeting. This television broadcast is brought to you by the local cable companies, the County of Kern, and the City of Bakersfield. You can watch the rebroadcast of this meeting Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. The agenda for this meeting can be downloaded at www.bakersfieldcity.us. Presiding over this evening's meeting, Chair Daniel Cater.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to call to order the July 18th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chair Cater,
Here.
Vice Chair Strickland,
Here.
Commissioner Bashir Tosh, Commissioner Biddle, Commissioner Kaur,
Here.
Commissioner Coleman,
Here.
Commissioner Neal.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you all for attending tonight's Planning Commission meeting. This commission provides an opportunity for public participation in the development process throughout the city of Bakersfield. The Planning Commission considers a wide variety of projects, including subdivision maps, zone changes, general plan amendments, and much more. When applications are received, the City Planning Division analyzes the request. The planning staff will provide the facts about the project along with their recommendations to the Planning Commission, who will approve an item or make a recommendation as appropriate. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Public statements.
Please note, in keeping with the City Council's new resolution, public statements are now received at different times depending on the item. I will call on Madam Clerk to call for public statements at the appropriate time, so please listen carefully for the correct time to speak.
Agenda item 3A, public statements.
Does anyone in the audience wish to address the Commission regarding items listed on tonight's agenda? Please note, if you are here for consent item public hearings 5A through 5C, this is not the time to speak. You will be provided an opportunity to do so at a later time.
Non-agenda item 3B, public statements.
Does anyone in the audience wish to address the Commission regarding items not listed on tonight's agenda? If so, please come forward and state your name. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 4, consent calendar items.
Please note, all matters listed under the consent items do not require a public hearing and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of said items unless staff or a commissioner request specific items be discussed and/or removed for separate action. May I get a motion approving consent item 4A?
I'll make the motion.
Commissioner Kaur, may I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Commissioner Strickland. Commissioners, please cast your votes.
Motion passes with Commissioners Bashir Tosh and Neal absent.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 5, consent public hearing items.
Now is the time for consent public hearing items. Please note, if an item is not removed by the commission, staff, or a member of the public, the commission will vote on all items in one motion without further comment. If an item is removed, it will be placed at the end of the non-consent public hearing items. So at this time, I will open all of the consent public hearing items. Does any member of the public wish to remove a consent public hearing item? Seeing no members of the public, does any commissioner or staff wish to remove a consent public hearing item?
Yes, I would just like to comment on item 5C. There was a memorandum prepared. Adding some context to that memorandum is that upon initial review, it appeared that there would be insufficient parking with the expansion of the school. Upon further review, it was identified there is sufficient parking on site. So initially, there was going to be a requirement that at the current Get bus stop that they install a bench and overhead protection, and that would allow for a 10% transit credit. But since there's sufficient parking, that bench and that overhead is not required, so condition B2 is being requested for deletion. It does not prevent them from still installing that at some point in time to assist with the students, but it's just not a requirement.
Thank you for the clarification. With that, are there any commissioners wishing to remove an item for separate discussion? Seeing no commissioners removing at this time, the consent public hearing items 5A through 5C are now closed. May I get a motion to adopt staff's recommendation on consent public hearing items 5A through 5C, incorporating all staff memoranda and revised staff recommendations? Commissioner Biddle, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Core. Commissioners, please cast your votes.
Motion passes to approve agenda items 5A, 5B, and 5C with Commissioners Bashir Tosh and Neal absent.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 6, there are no non-consent public hearing items.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 7, communications.
Does staff have any communication items?
Yes, thank you. Today we have the city clerk in the chambers today. She's been training staff, planning staff on converting planning commission to eScribe. It's a new system that we're going to be using instead of Novus. So you will be receiving some email notifications. There'll be changes to how the voting occurs. So at the next meeting, if you could arrive just a little bit earlier, we will provide a little bit of training on the voting process on that.
We were just getting a hang of the non-roll call. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I apologize to all future public attending commission.
Also, August 15th, if you can attend, that would be very beneficial. We're going to have the consultant with our general plan update here, and we're going to be discussing land use alternatives. So we're going to be looking for your feedback on that. We do have meetings scheduled for August and September to include September 5th. I recognize that is the week of the Labor Day holiday. So if you are not going to be available, I'd appreciate letting me know in advance. If we do not have a quorum, we'll just need to reschedule the hearing items. But since some of those items require public posting and everything, we just want to make sure that we post at the correct time. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 8, commission comments.
Does any commissioner have any comments? Seeing no commissioner comments, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Agenda item 9, adjournment.
This meeting is adjourned at 5:38. Have a great evening.